Hello everyone, my name is Belvin, and I am the Assistant Dean for Career Development at the Heller School for Social Policy and Management at Brandeis University. At this point, many of you have heard my team and I discuss different components of the networking process, from what it is to how to do it in different settings. Today, I want to focus on crafting an effective outreach message. Very important. And I often receive questions from students and alumni about sending that initial message out, whether it's via email or LinkedIn or other online social mediums. They want to know things like, how long should that initial outreach message be? What should be included in the main body of the message? And should they be more formal than not when sending this message out? So I'm going to give you 5 key tips for making the most of that first networking communication. The first is the message context is important. And what I mean by that is how well you know the person matters. For someone you have never met and this is your first introduction to one another, your message should be a bit more formal. Look, formality and courtesy is always a good thing, even if you do know the person. However, if you have been previously introduced to someone before, then of course that message may be a bit different than what it would be for someone that you don't know very well. Tip number 2, always use a proper salutation for your opening greeting. Avoid beginning a message to someone you don't know with, hey there, or even hi. We recommend you address that initial outreach message with something a bit more formal. The most common salutation is dear. For example, Dear Benny, or Dear Mr. Belvin. You can also consider their professional titles, such as Dear Dr. Brown, or Dear Professor Holds. After a few email exchanges, you and your contact will most likely communicate in a more informal manner. Also, inquire about their day and how they are doing. So for example, Dear Benny, I hope this message finds you well. This conveys to the reader your emotional intelligence and that you have dimensionality that goes beyond just requesting an informational interview. Tip number 3, make sure the message is clear and includes who you are and why you are reaching out. Now, this may seem like a simple detail, but it isn't always done very well. You may already be apprehensive and nervous about reaching out, and in a rush to send a message, there are key details that you may forget. So be sure to include your full name, your relevant affiliation, whether it's college, workplace, or industry, and the reason you are reaching out. It could be an interest in setting up an informational interview to learn more about an internship, or to inquire about a job posting at the organization, or general career information. Tip number 4, always conclude with a follow-up ask. Oftentimes, I will hear from students and alumni who did this outreach that it didn't seem effective. I ask why, and the response is often, I don't feel like I got to the next step. My next question to them is usually, did you include a follow-up ask? The follow-up ask is a simple statement of how the person can assist you. So for example, you might say, might you have 20 minutes of your time for an informational interview to highlight your career trajectory in law? Or do you have 20 minutes to discuss your company culture and highlight the hiring process? The follow-up ask is an action-oriented statement that is key to the success of the message. Lastly, conclude with the same tone that you began the message with. Remember, you are asking someone for their time and commitment of information and resources to further your professional goals. So as you begin your message in a respectful and hopefully upbeat tone, it should conclude in the same manner. For example, thank you for your time and consideration. Warmly, Benny. Or, I appreciate your consideration and look forward to being in touch. Sincerely, Brian. So, in summary, the initial outreach message is concise and to the point. It conveys to your contact who you are, your background and affiliation, your thoughtfulness, and that you are eager to engage with them to learn and acquire information. So use these 5 tips, and it will increase your success in that networking communication.